Okay, good morning, guys. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. How's everyone doing this morning? So before we get started, right, a couple of things really quick. Number one, not everyone trades like I do. I got to throw this up on the screen real quick just to make sure we're all kosher with everything. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. It'll be up in just a second, or it won't. Maybe it won't. Heck, didn't show up. Let's try that again. Oh, there it is. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Computer's thinking about it. There we go. So you can pause it and read that whole legal notice if you want. I've got to flash it. Basically, it says past performance is not indicative of future results. That's good news for almost every one of us. Number two, you can lose your backside trading futures. Have a trade plan. Know what you're doing. Make sure you're not getting smoked. Process, have a maximum risk, right? And make sure you can afford to lose the money that is in your trading account. Anything and everything can happen. And no matter how good you think you are, you can lose a lot of money. If you don't believe me, ask Victor Niederoff. He can tell you billions, not once, but twice. Okay, so we have some red on the screens. Let's jump first over to ES, and we will roll out from there, right? So on the profile from ES, which I have hidden, let's move all this over. Right here. Here, I can get rid of that. There we go. There we go. So let's go through our checklist. And then I'm going to jump through to the important part. We'll just get this done first, right? So number one, we have a little bit of adaptation of where the 50-60 is. So let's write that down for the day on ES. The mid from our current swing low to yesterday's high is sitting right here. If we, by some miracle, we can get down low enough to actually get that, expect some responsive buyers in that neighborhood, right? There's just simply no other way to put that I would expect responsive buyers in this general trade location, number one, right? So it's 27.95. It's a long way away from where we're trading. We're trading 28.45. I don't expect to get down into that today, and if we did, I would expect responsive buying in that neighborhood. Would not want to be short in this location. Don't get bearish in the hole. We're in a bull market. I've seen a lot of people talking about bonds, market rolling over, and so there's a component here, right? When we've gone straight up, we haven't built a lot of support underneath, and we can have, it's not unusual when you have a market that's gone straight up. So I'm going to go back to the last market where we were just grinding up. Okay. It is not unusual to be going up, have a trend day down, and then continue to the sideways. Everyone wants to make like, oh, it's all over right here. No, it's not unusual to have a trend day down. You'll see it back on 726 of or 727 of last year. We were going up, and you can see it repeatedly in the chart almost anywhere you look, right? Where you can just keep grinding up and have one nasty down day. And it just simply doesn't make a bear market, right? Again, you'll see that over here. We're just grinding up, and we end up with a trend day down like we did over here, right? And it's usually a one-day wonder. And you'll notice when buyers are in control, so the important thing here is when buyers are in control, notice the market actually declined, right? See how we rolled all the way down? And if you look at this, right, here's the last swing low. Here's the 50-60 back. And notice it doesn't even make it back to the 50-60 back before, and it finds, and the important key to that is, I want to make sure everyone's clear on that. The important key on that is people think like, oh, it's going down. Notice that every one of these days, and this is what I'm pointing to, 1, 2, 3, market declined, right? The high was 28.12. We rolled all the way down to 27.60. Not a single day closed on the low, okay? People who got bearish in the hole on those particular days, all of them got absolutely and utterly annihilated and smoked. And here's the pain of that, right? Look where we were a couple days later. We actually did roll down, and this is how people go. I don't understand. I lost all my money shorting, right? I lost all my money shorting, right? And the market went down. How the hell did that happen? Well, that's how the hell that happens, is that you're on a day time frame you're in a market that encourages buyers to step in because of the way it's structured, right? And it's very hard to get it to close at the low, and it's very hard to get it to go in a straight line to the downside. Much easier to get it to go in a straight line to the upside, as we've witnessed, right? So only at extremes does it go down easily. So for the day, right, what we're looking for in ES, let me keep it efficient because it's the product I'm trading the least amount right now, right? So number one, we still have to be able to trade below prior day's low. We haven't accomplished that. We stopped one timing, but we're really not making any progress to the downside, right? So we're currently trading 28.48. We have to first get outside of prior day's value area. You'll notice a lack of zones. This whole area is pretty ugly, actually. There's not a clearly defined location. If anything, that 28.60 is resistance above. And what you'll also notice, even though they're trying to push down right now, is if you clear this, there's some pretty wide open space to the next naked volume point of control and the next TPO point of control. So keep in mind, we don't have to be bearish. Underneath, there's an untested naked volume point of control and naked TPO point of control. It came close to getting tested, but has not been tested. I would expect an initial response, and it would also get us underneath the low for the week, snap back in, trade back into the range, end up with a balanced week, right? So again, watch for reversals at the bottom, and we know what the setups that we're looking for there, right? So yeah, that's my 2 cents about that. Next, this is the 50-60 sitting right down here, right? 27.95. So if we do break this, there's a naked point of control sitting right at that 50 retrace, and there's another one right near the 62 retrace. I expect a response out of all of this. And then your key level here, see that right there? Watch for an over-under in this area. I couldn't figure out whether I wanted to make that a white zone or a yellow zone. It's an important area, that 28.42 to 28.33. And if you'll look at the overnight price action in that same location, 28.42. Let me erase all these lines. No, never mind. Yes, there we go. So this is that 28.42 area right there, and you'll see that's where we got the response right out of, right? So why is this not looking right? Let's go fix that. ES profile. I see, because I backed it up. Okay, so see what I did on the chart? So when I get in a large anomaly like this, I'm not sure quite what to do with it. So there's a hole in the profile here, right? And this 28.37 to 28.34 area, why does that look funny? Let's go check that out. Okay. So we came off the top of this, and out of this hole, right, is where they're responding. But the anomaly is actually here. So here's the trick with this, right? If you're wondering how the market changes, when there's a lot of sell pressure, we'll push all the way to the back of this zone and maybe even underneath and get an over-under and then push back in. But when there's strength, we'll come right off the top or come out of the hole in the profile, right? So the adjustment there is I'm always going to go with the more conservative location for the zone. Hold on 1 second. Let me check one thing really quick. Try to miss something. Have not. Okay. So I'm going to always place that zone in the back there. You can see so if you look where I have the zone placed, right? All they did is they've come off the hole in the profile, right? Instead of coming back to the back of the zone. My guess is at some point we'll come to the back of the zone, either out of the zone or an over-under backside test and push back up. Establishing and holding underneath that zone becomes pretty important, right? So I don't have much more to say other than I'm going to watch for the PA. I know they're selling early. I would be very surprised if we don't get responsive buyers pretty early in that process. That would be my 2 cents. That would be my guess, right? So next, let's go look at NQ really quick. Okay, so here's our NQ profile. As you can see, trend day up, right? So the problem we have here in NQ in general is no support has been built. We've pretty much just gone in a straight line. So let's draw our important areas. Swing low, swing high. You should have these marked off on your charts so you know where the big picture 50-60 is. We're almost pretty certain that we have a high percentage chance, meaning I'd give it 70 to 80% chance that we get a response out of this area right? If we could possibly make it back. The reality is that would require us to travel right now from 75.24 to 72.37, 300 points. So it's unlikely we get back to the mid. So what are the other locations? So number one, this is easily traded through. If you look at the profile when it's stacked, it just wasn't a pretty profile, right? We have a naked TPO point of control with a long liquidation here, right? That was a B profile, long liquidation, 73.76, right? I'd expect a response out of that area. I would also, but if you get underneath the 73.70 location, see how there's a long, see this TPO and volume point of control were almost tested. It was like missed by a tick, and it hit the TPO. It didn't hit the volume profile, literally one tick. Okay, so I'm going to consider this tested. The next naked TPO volume point of control comes all the way the heck down here. Now that, from where we're currently trading, we're trading 74.90. This is 72.82. That's 200 points down from where we're trading now, 250 from where we're at now. Now, it sounds ridiculous to go, we might be getting down 250 points. I'm not saying we are. All I'm saying is if we get there, right, I would look for responsive buys out of that general location. I'll cover how that would look, right? Again, my biggest concern is open drive higher in the first or open drive lower in the first 30 minutes, right? Or delayed open drive lower really after 9 a.m. econ, which I believe we do have. I will double check and verify that for everyone right now. Friday morning, we have at 8:32, 9:45 flash PMI services and 9 a.m. existing home sales and final wholesale inventories and 1 o'clock federal budget balance, which I'm not sure means anything to anyone in this room. So, right, with that being said, I'm simply watching for what the price action looks like today. And again, to those who think, oh, it can't just go straight up, hell yeah, it can, right? And I didn't trade very well yesterday in my book when I went back and looked at my setups. I'll cover that in just a second. But straight up is possible. Your first clue is, can you get underneath? So we need to see if we can establish underneath this, first of all, right? I'd expect this to be noisy and choppy. And then B, can we establish underneath here? This is the last anomaly back here at 74.40, 74.30, right? So really establishing underneath this level opens us up for a roll to test this volume point of control and TPO point of control. And this, getting underneath here, would really open us up. But at that point, right, we're 74.91 to get to 73.73. You're talking about 100 down. You'd expect a response from this area. And certainly anything underneath here, right, it's going to just be hard. Hold on one second here. You know, I apologize. Hold on one sec, guys. Okay. And so, long story short, you can see we're opening up. This hole needs to be filled in volume. And I want to get out of this blue area. So remember, when we're inside of these prior days value areas, right? See how we just tend to trade all the way through them, up and down? You're better off establishing above or below. Just FYI. Yes, I know. If you don't establish the long here, it rips straight up, and I get that, right? But our process should really be telling us whether or not we can get that set up. I apologize for the distraction. And so, and I'm going to cover that in just a second. In the meantime, we have not stopped one time to the upside in NQ. And to do that, you're going to have to get below yesterday's low. Long story short, right? Which means, and it is highly likely when we get under this low that you find responsive buyers to trap us back in for a balanced day. The one timing hasn't ended. I would not get uber bearish. That's it. I do think there's room to the downside, right? But I've thought that for a whole week. So who gives a shit, right? It's got to actually prove that it can go. And the likelihood is, right, it'll make it easier on you. If you don't geek yourself up to catch it and you relax and we let the setup come, it'll be evident when it's rolling down, right? And you'll see the two-sidedness come in. And if you put a lot of pressure, which I do on myself to catch that turn, you'll have a rough day. If you just go, we'll see what there is to see, right? Life gets a lot easier. So let's go look at CL really quick, which actually did roll down. And CL. Again, all the charts have been posted, right, guys? So, and for those who are on YouTube, if you'll look, I posted on StockTwits and Twitter. I posted the link to the blog page where the charts are posted there as well. So the zones are not on these charts, right? So if you look at CL, we have a potential for trend day down. Why? What's going on? We have traded underneath prior day's low. This is U.S. session only. We have so far failed to fill the gap or the half gap, right? We are holding the anomaly off to the left, so we need to clear this. But if you get underneath this little clink right here, which is 59, look how much room there is. See how clean that chart is underneath, right? There's a little lip right here, maybe. But the clear and obvious target is at 57.47. Now, is that doable? Well, we're trading 59.21. CL's had 200 and 300 tick down days, right? Hasn't lately. I'm not saying it's rolling down. What I'm saying is very clearly, if we hold underneath here and you get the setup to the short side, you could long liquidate through here. And that's all I'm saying, right? So then again, I'm not fighting to look for that trade. I'm not saying we are. We're in support and it's held support, right? And there's a giant hole right here that the volume needs to be filled in on. And the market may just sit here all day in balance in this area, right? But if we get underneath here, roll to the downside is certainly possible, and we've accomplished 2 of our 3 requirements, right, for a potential trend day down. We're underneath prior day's low. We've gapped down and failed to fill the gap. Now you got to get underneath the first 30-minute low and start to expand to the downside, one time to the downside. And then I'm looking for reversals down here because buyers have been consistently stepping in, and I'm watching for an increase in velocity in that product. It's Friday. Usually Fridays are pretty slow, but on CL, but who knows? Let's see what sets up, right? So that's my 2 cents. Now I want to cover something more important. Oh, by the way, not that we're getting there today because it would require an absolute nuclear meltdown on oil, but 50, 60, please keep in mind there's a naked volume point of control and naked TPO point of control at 57.47, and it is a big picture 50, 60 retrace, right? Be ready to tap in there. It's highly likely to get a response at that location. And I would not want to be short or try to get a continuation beyond that. That works 1 or 2 times and fails a bunch, right? So it's a 20% trade to bet that you're going to bust that 50-60 first time in. So let's get rid of this and now go to where I goofed yesterday. So I'm going to pull this up. NQ. I want to go to yesterday. So I was having a very hard time with the idea that we're just going to go straight up, right? So here's yesterday morning. I want to show you all this. We actually rolled down on Monday. Too many dates. Let's change this chart settings. 5 days. Let's take just a second. Okay. Now, if we go to yesterday, right, and let's go through on NQ, I'll do ES2, order, entry, stop, right? So we have a very specific process that we're following, right? So I don't trade the first half hour, so let's get out of that. Doesn't matter. And then I have a cautionary tale. Hey, Daniel Daniel, can I share your story from yesterday? Is that okay, or is that a no go? I don't know if Daniel's in the room. If he's not in the room, he's not. He's probably pissed. That's fine. I'm pretty sure he'll be all right with it, and it's not a custom. So I will discuss it in the room. So, okay, if I wanted to be long yesterday, right? 8:59, 9 o'clock. This is where I trade, right? So I'm looking for clues. I don't have a fractal up and fractal down. I usually want that. But what are the other things I could have used to get long? 3 down, I pointed it out in the room, followed by 3 up right here, right? Close above. Now, what would have it taken for me to take this trade right there? A willingness to take a stop right there. So if I wanted a long and I thought the market was long, that was my entry. There was no short trigger through here. This closed 1 tick underneath. I pointed it out. I said I would not take that, right? We did get 3 up right here, right? But again, see how the point of control closed 1 tick underneath? When you see that 1 tick difference in the point of control underneath, right, be very concerned because it's likely to fail. As a matter of fact, what Daniel did point out, and quite rightly so, is when you get that 1 tick and then you close back into this bar that should have been the trigger, you almost always get a short squeeze back to the upside, and he's 100% correct. So see right here how we got underneath this by 1 tick, and as soon as you close back up into that bar, which is right here, little retrace and push. So that's interesting. I'm going to add that to my considerations for setups, right? I'm not there yet, but that's an interesting scalp setup because his point is very valid, right? It closes in, and now you have a nice entry exit stop, even if you don't have the 3 up, 3 down, right? Again, if I wanted long. So I go through this every day because I want to know how it would have been if I had done it perfectly. Again, 1 ticked underneath here, no short, close above, launch, right? Now, I'm not going to take any of this up here. I've already missed my long entry, right? Running, running, running. Okay, up on top, right? Fractal up, fractal down, 3 o'clock cross. If I want a short, right, we closed underneath and by more than 1 tick right here on that red bar, and it rolled down. So what would that look like from a P&L standpoint on a straight up day? I would have ended up with a 74.40, and the best I could have gotten would have been 74.70, and if I covered it perfectly, it would have been 64.50. Not great, but it did trigger in, right? And ultimately, I would have ended up with 3 across right here, right? That's part of the process. 3 up, closed above, no fractal down, and it took off again. If you look up on top here, we end up with a shot across the bow right here, then 3 up right here, right? So this is your close underneath all the way down here. And again, that did actually push, but not a lot. Your entry would have ended up being at the end of that bar, that 74.75. 50.60 is your additional entry, and your best push down would have been 74.66, maybe 9 points. Again, if you look at it from the other perspective, there's your shot across the bow right there. There's your 3 across. You close above these fractals, right? Really, you could have keyed off of that 1 fractal right there, closed above, stop underneath, and then there's your push. The whole point behind that is all through the day, I actually had opportunities to get long, and I didn't take them. Why? Because when that happens, I'm going to talk about 2 things that are very important this morning. When that happens, you cannot beat, if you have a belief system you're working against, right? It becomes, hold on a second. Okay. So if you, I had a belief system that said I didn't think we should go straight up, right, or go higher. I wanted to dip to get long, right? So I just ignored my longs. Essentially, is what I did, right? And so that sounds stupid, right? But it's really important because it affects a lot of traders in the room. If you have a belief system, right? So I hear some people say, "Well, I don't like change," right? Well, in this market, you're going to have to, in this business, you have to change, right? But if you keep reinforcing that, I don't like change, I don't like change, I don't like change, you're going to have a hard time trading, right? Well, I have a belief system that says, I don't think markets should go straight up like they've done and leave me in the dust, right? Well, guess what? Now I have the problem, right? Because I look at all my entries. I look at all my entries and go, see ya, straight up, right? So that becomes very, very difficult. That becomes very, very difficult for me. Hey, can I ask a favor? Whoever's logging in as a trader, right? Can you just kind of either drop me a message on the Slack channel or an email and let me know who you are? That would be helpful. Thank you. So at any rate, long story short, I had a belief system. The belief system's incorrect, right? Because obviously the market did go straight up. And I had a high odds setup entry, and I totally just took it and threw it in the garbage can on me, right? So that's a place where I can improve. Next, I was right not to take the shorts, in my opinion. Why? The PA just didn't support rolls to the downside, right? So from that part, I kept myself safe. From the long side, I was just wrong. Okay. Next, I want to show you the same series of setups, right? But drag it over to CL because I let that get in my head with it straight up, and I let it affect because I'm going to go through the trades from yesterday. All right, so let's erase this real quick. No. Okay, so you'll forgive me. There's lines all over this. I thought I had a 5 range that doesn't have this attached. Let's do this. Chart settings, cancel, right click, duplicate chart, chart settings, 3 days. Okay, that should be quick. Chart settings, advanced settings, get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Like I said, if you look at this, right, so this is yesterday. I want to go through the day. All right, so here is where I like to start trading, right? Get rid of all econ. So number one, I'm going to take that too close to the button, right? 3 down, 3 down. So number one, I'm not going to short this because we're already in the hole, right? And it didn't trigger, right? See how the point of control is 1 tick underneath, and that's a constant kibosh. It's a common theme across our setups and across that particular algo, right? So number two, I get a shot across the ball and then 3 down, right? This triggers and a fractal up and down. This triggers long right here. Entry, stop below here, 50, 60 back, right? That's at 921. I just ignored the entry, right? Why? I'm over there looking at NQ going, it can't go straight up, and it is, right? So pretty straightforward. And what's the importance of this is that I'm just going back and reinforcing what I should have done or what I could do to improve my trading moving forward, right? I want to say that again. What I'm doing is, and this is directly from Dr. Steenbarger, Denise Schul from Money Mind Games, right? And all those other trading coaches, right? Go back and run your day perfectly. And when I did run my day perfectly, I left a boatload of P&L on the table, right? So there's my first long. 3 across, never triggers to the short side, right? Again, you'll see the push up. And again, there's nothing for me to do up here. Now, if you look, when we get to the top, when we start this consolidation period, right? I'm looking to break a fractal for a roll to the downside. But what do I get on top that did trigger? Here's my 3 up, excuse me, that the algo is being so nice as to highlight for me, right? There's my swing. There's my fractal down. There's my bar that closes underneath, right? That's my entry right there. Draw back my 50, 60 back. There's my swing. That's my 50, 60 back, which doesn't get filled yet, at least. And there's my roll to the downside, right? That entry was 60.10 for 59.70, 40 ticks. There's nothing wrong with that trade, right? I just didn't take it. Next, looking for the long, right? So this would have been set up a potential. This actually ended up setting up a continuation trade, 3 across, right? Fractal up, fractal down, never triggers, right? And then what was the problem at the low? At the low, I didn't get any signal at all, none. I had these red, blue speed bars. It's not enough for me to take by itself, right? I just didn't get a signal. That's okay, right? I knew that if I would have been short, I would have hopefully been trailing down. I certainly don't want to let 60.10 for 59.70 to roll all the way back against me, right? And then you'll also notice within our process, this is the last biggest push down. You sure as hell don't want it above that. And you'll notice as soon as we clear that delta wave down, right? Close above, short squeeze. Now, look at the top. 3 down, fractal up, fractal down, trigger short right here. Right? Again, it's 3 o'clock. I'm in a pretty sour mood. I'm tired. Don't take the trade. 50, 60 back. And it was a pretty easy setup, right? Half, stop, paid, right? Pretty damn straightforward. Okay, so what's the cool thing about doing that, right? Is it humiliation because you're going through and say, well, you didn't take your trades and you left P&L on the table? No. It's like, okay, something was in my head. I wasn't on yesterday. Didn't cause any damage, right? But I could have done better by miles, right? So for today, now I know what I'm looking for. I'm back on process, right? And I can do it over and over and over and over again, which is very, very important to me. Okay. So finally, looking at today. Okay. I want to talk about a cautionary tale. Okay. So Daniel, I don't think Daniel will mind me showing him this, texted me this morning. He's not trading today. Just noticed. So Daniel started trading with One Up Trader, and he was doing really great, right? And he's had this thing that I've been trying to coach him out of, which is stop predicting the market, right? And he actually is pretty decent at looking at it and making market predictions. Like he can look at that TPO profile chart, and he's pretty good at calling where we'll turn, right? The problem is he's developed a belief system around that instead of just taking his entries. And so yesterday, right, so he had 2 really good days in a row. He did great, right? He started building that account. He was on track to get it qualified, right? And then for whatever reason in the world, somewhere in his thought process, he developed the idea that we were going to be short yesterday, right? And I'm going to show you exactly where he took his trade, right? So remember, he's up in the account. He's doing great, right? And he decides, not here, here. Wow, nice, nasty roll down. So this is yesterday. Okay, you can see our notes. He asked for a coaching session yesterday, and I did it. He shorted this 74.44 area right here. He shorted this right here, right in here, right after 9 o'clock. Maybe it was this right here. It's one of these 2 locations, right? And he thought he had it nailed, right? And it started running back against him. So he didn't scale his trade out, right? He shorted and he actually had 9 points. He didn't take any scale, right? And in his mind, for whatever reason on the face of the earth, he thought it was going to roll lower. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that thought process. But it gets back over here, starts going back up, and he survives. It starts rolling down, and he goes, this is where he shifted. Oh, I don't want the trade to stop. And why don't I want the trade to stop? Because we're about to roll down 200 points, and I'm going to hit the home run, right? He moves his stop, and he goes, this is, so first of all, he had no process. There's no setup here. If he did, he would have ended up triggering nowhere in here, actually. He would have triggered nowhere in here. Let's see if we got this. Maybe here, and he would have been stopped here. Let's see here. And actually, I take it back because he would have had 3 across right here, and he would have triggered long with the stop underneath for the long side trade, right? But he was already committed to the short side of the trade, okay? And I want y'all to understand, Daniel's a good trader. He has great instincts. He has a good read. He has no hesitation in putting on risk, okay? He decided that he was so committed to the trade rolling lower, he moved his stop 30 ticks back. That's a lot of ticks, right, on NQ. He was working off of a bit higher time frame on his chart, right? He was working off a 6 range chart, and he was committed to that trade, okay? And it blew him up, just straight up. He has to start that account again. He hit his max stop loss in that account, and with Daniel, it's been a constant theme. I keep having to bring him back to just follow your freaking process. And if you don't get a setup, you miss the trade, whatever, who gives a shit? That guy has the capability of pulling down $1,000 to $2,000 a day with his abilities. He's really, really talented guy. Trade wise, his mind works really well until he gets off a process, right? And then as soon as he's off a process, it's been the same story repeatedly as I've been coaching him, right? Follow process for 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15 days. And then he thinks he sees something magical in the charts, or he sees a larger move coming and he goes, F the process, I'm making my call. And he gets it right one time and it blows him up the other time because, right? It's just like predicting the weather, right? We look outside the window and it's sunny outside. I can go in 10 minutes. Well, I live in Texas, but hell, still 10 minutes, it's going to be sunny, right? I look outside, it's raining right now. 10 minutes from now, it's going to be raining. Now, can I say it's going to be raining tonight? Yeah, maybe, maybe not, right? Is it going to be raining tomorrow? Hell, what's my odds? I have no idea. Look at the Weather Channel. It's always 60, 40, 30, 20, 50, 50. We got it wrong, right? It's really hard to predict pushing way, way out. You can say we have the environment for it, right? But just getting emotional about the trade and going, I'm going off process because I think we're going to zero, right? And you miss by one day. Like, for example, he did the same trade today, right? Come over here, right? Let's see if he got a setup. So if you look at this trade early this morning, he thought it was going to go to zero. Fractal up, fractal down, right? Here's your 3 up right here. So let's say you are pressing the short, right? That's what you're pressing for. There's your 3 up, fractal. Here's your fractal up, fractal down. That was 1 tick underneath. I wouldn't have taken that. That's my short entry. 50, 60 back, wherever that occurs. Stop right there. Now, he waits one day, right? He waits one day. If I got this right, it's all triggered correctly, right? I didn't miss anything. Fractal up, fractal down, 3 to the downside. This hypothetically triggered long here, okay, which is fine. Let's go the other way. Let's go all the way through the process, assuming you traded an insane 8:37 in the morning, right? So you triggered long on this bar. You took a 50, 60 back, right? This is why I don't trade the first half hour, right? You took it, you added, it rotated up, you didn't get out, and you stopped. Okay, so your stop's going to go approximately right here, right? But remember, you got a fractal up right here. So as soon as you close underneath it, at the latest, you should be out right here. I'd probably been gone right there, right? Shouldn't have happened. Flip, short, right? And now he goes, hey, I think we can go to zero, right? He does that same trade, exact same size, and he goes, I'm not covering it. So now he's rolled it all the way down, and he goes, I'm just moving my stop to break even, and I'll see what I see. And he has a monster day, right? So where does this all lead to, right? Where does this all lead to in going through process? I've demonstrated where I failed yesterday because I didn't follow my process of clear trade setups to the long side, right? Because I'm exactly what we're having right now is what I thought could happen, right? Which is open drive lower, trend day down, right? But Daniel, who I've been coaching, right, and he does great. When he stays on the process, he does great. Decided yesterday was the day this was going to happen, and he just said, F it. I'm not waiting for the setup, right? I'm not managing my risk, and I'm going to throw all my skill sets out the window because I know we're going to go lower, right? And then and then this morning he sends me a text, and he goes, I can't lie. I'm effing livid. I went off process yesterday. And he goes, nice to see them F the buyers without me, right? So the whole point behind that is, and my response to all of that would be, you could have had this. All you had to do is wait for it to set up, follow process, and even if you thought it was long, triggered in long, taken the stop, flipped the trade, and you gotten paid, right? So that's my cautionary tale. Staying on, we have a process that really, really works at a high efficiency rate, right? And if you can read the charts and you know where we might stretch to, right? If you can read the charts and you can know where we might stretch to, you can make a lot of money, right? But if you're going to insist on predicting the market, right? The odds of you being right are about 50-50, right? Flip a 50-50 coin 1,000 times and bet on which side it's going to land on, right? And if you're off just a little bit, let's say the 50-50 turns into heads 52% of the time, right? So it's 50, any trade's 50-50 odds, even if you have a 99% win rate. The next trade is always a 50-50, right? But where it's truly 50-50, let's say out of those 1,000 times, right, it just deviates one time out of every 100, right? And you say, well, I can't lose. I get half the time. I'm just going to adjust. A 1% difference bankrupts you on that trade. By the way, this is just triggered long from a 3-up, 3-down process only. I don't trade the first half hour. We have econ coming up, and that's open drive lower. So I'm always cautious on the first 30 minutes. I'll just let them shake it out. There's not a lot of support underneath. The door is pretty narrow, right? So I'm not bearish. I'm not bullish. I'll follow my setups, but I'll follow them after probably 9:15 this morning, right? Make sure they get it nice and shaken out one way or the other. Oil's getting roiled as well. Okay, so it's the same thing with other coaching clients. I got a guy who just trades oil. He stays on process. His bad weeks, he tends to be break even. His good weeks, he tends to make a lot of money. So what you're surrendering there is, right? So here's the flip side. When you're surrendering, right, that flip side of that trade, okay, you are giving up like I knew it. So let's say we didn't have any of this stuff and we couldn't tell where the short setup or where the, technically this is a long setup here. It's too early, 3 minutes in front of econ. You're nuts if you're trading it. But let's say that all set up, right? Let's go from that, right? And you flip through that whole process. If you flip through that whole process and you go, oh, well, I knew it this time, so next time I'm not going to go on process. Well, the odds of you, how many times in a row can you call this move successfully? Because I can tell you, I've been rather bearish for a week and a half, right? And if I called short every day, I'd be broke right now with the leverage that I trade. There's no question about it. It'd take me a week and a half to 2 weeks to lose about half my net worth if I just pressed that trade, right, with the leverage that I trade. So my encouragement to you is that you forget about your ego, forget about how well you think you can or cannot read the market. Forget about what you know about the market if you're a day trader, right? Who gives a shit where it is next week, next month, next year? Because you're a day trader. All you want is entry, exit, stop, right? If we go through that process, right? If we look right here, and I did trade before 9 a.m., right? My trigger here, I need to figure out what I need. Do I need a fractal up, fractal down? Is just having to shut across the bow and the 3 down sufficient for me, right? Because in that case, if that's sufficient for me, right? Here's the 3 across. There's my trigger, right? Again, here's the craziest part of the day, which is why I don't trade it. There's your 50-60 back. So you entered half here, and you rolled from where you entered 74.46 up to 77.52. And if you get that turn right and it doesn't bust you here on the low, which again, you're right in front of econ, so good luck to you if you're trading that on open drive lower. I don't like to try to catch bottoms like that. That's your whole shot back to VWAP, back on the upside, right, which would be your upside target. So long story short, right? Follow process. There was almost no failures. If you use the rule of the 1 tick below the trigger, it's got to be at least 2 ticks for me on the point of control, right? And you'll notice I'm not talking about whether the market's going to go up significantly or down significantly. I'm talking about what my entry looks like and how I'm going to manage that trade, right? So let's jump over. CL is one timing to the downside, right? So be mindful of when it stops. I need to set that chart up really quick. Okay, so remember on CL, I said we had two of the components that we really needed to set up a potential trend day down. So I'm going to pull that over real quick. Let's get over. And why is my chart not showing? Because I'm on my down. There we go. Okay, so let's go through this. Right. So here's where we started talking, right? And I said, so I did make that a white zone, right? So if you look, right, as we roll down, so everyone knows what this looks like. The green line on top is prior day's high, green line below, prior day's low. This is a white zone, right? And you can see all night long, we've held that white zone, right? So if you look through here, I said, what do we have to do? We have to release underneath this, right? And then the next logical place to test, this is 58.51, 58.48, and we're trending to the downside. So let's go see how our trade set up and how we would have or would not have done through that process. So let's just start at 8 o'clock since we just ticked 9 o'clock, and we'll go through here real quick, right? Shot across the bow, 3 down, 3 up, followed by 3 down, 3 down, followed by 3 up, right? So in this particular case, you are at a white zone, right? You're below prior day's low. You know you've been straight up, right? Here's the close above. So I want to show you how you manage this trade, right? So it came down. There's your 3 down. This bar triggered you long, right? This was roughly your 50-60 back, right? And when you get over here, this is your stop right here. That bar stopped you out right there. That was a failed trade. There's no way that trade worked. Was it a good place to potentially, if you thought it was going to reverse? Yeah. So what's the adjustment you would have made? Just like I said this morning, we are gapping below in the U.S. session. We are gapping down and away from prior day's value and below prior day's low. So the potential is there for trend day down. So if I take this trade, right, so this is where bias comes in. If I take this trade, I just got to go, hey, if we don't reverse here, we're probably rolling lower, right? So if you look, right, this is your last fractal down, right? This is fractal down, fractal up. You get behind this fractal, it's probably over with. So, right, following that process, see how we closed underneath the white zone right here? Backside tested. So you got stopped if you followed process properly. You got stopped. There's no way around it. It's a loss, right? But if you came right over here, assuming you took the trade, which again, I don't trade the first half hour, and this is the reason why. I know there's profitable trades in there. There's also a lot of losing trades, right? Here's your fractal down, fractal up. You now close underneath, right? So you're underneath that white zone. You know you have room to the downside, right? You don't have 3 up or 3 down. All you have is the fractals. There's your close underneath, right? This bar right here, right? You draw your 50-60 from here. Your stop, right, has to go up here. So your entry on this ends up being a, let's call it a 58.86 for 59, let's call it 822 ticks, right? Stop. So you enter, right? Push to the downside, fractal up, fractal down. This is cool because now you know if you get a close above this, you really want to just chop out of that trade, right? Or 3 up, 3 down. That's your biggest push down right there in quite a while. Actually, that's the biggest push going back all week, it looks like, delta-wise, right? So now I have some help from the market, right? I'm short in this area. I know if I get above this point right here, right? I'm going to draw a big red line right here. Why? To this point, that's my biggest push down. And if I get above that, dollars to donuts, they're going to find a way to push and short squeeze people above, right? So assuming that I was bullish for some reason and I took the loss here, you flip over here. That's your next setup. You've covered whatever you've lost here already, right? And hopefully you get an extension. Now you have 3 down right here, right? So now you have a place, even though you don't have a fractal or anything else, you know if you close above this point right here, you're likely to push up and backside test the white zone, right? So just following along. And now I know if I'm trailing down, if I've scaled and trailed down, if I get a bar that closes with a point of control above, I want to be out of that trade. And if it doesn't close above this, right, because I still don't have what I'm really looking for is one of these red bars, which is an algo indicator with a fractal on top of it. And that's where I really know we could possibly go, right? And in the meantime, I can just sit tight, right? I've got a free ride if it extends to the downside. And again, my target is where? I'm going to take a scale right in front of 58.52. And if I go look at the dome, I'm going to guess that there's going to be size sitting right there. Let's go look. So going down at 58.61, you have 400 contracts sitting there. And then at 58.53 through 58.50, you have 108, 130, 98, 284 contracts sitting. So they have to bust the 422, which is likely. And my guess is you'd want to front run that to cover that trade for a scale, right? That's how you're going to handle that trade. So long story short, right? Long story short, if you stay on process, even on your losing trades, and you roll right to the next trade, right? So there are some days where it doesn't work, or there's some days you're off, right? So you've all seen me. If I take 2 stops back to back, I generally cut it for the day. Why? It almost never happens to me, right? But number 2, I want to take the time out if I get 2 stops back to back. Am I doing something wrong, or there's something funky with the market? The last piece I want to stress, right? When I coach people, I say skip the first half hour. And I get 1 or 2 responses, sure, no problem. Or, and then oil the first hour, right? Because you get all kinds of interference and econ data and all kinds of crap that goes on in there. The response I get is from a lot of people, but the trade sets up very nicely in that time of day, right? They go, the trade sets up very nicely that time of day. Well, that's true. It does in the first half hour. It sets up very nicely. It also blows the crap out of people in the first half hour. And I see people repeatedly, when I see guys blow up their trading accounts or take big drawdowns, it's in the first half hour. And the reason why is, A, the market starts moving very quickly. You have to make decisions mega super fast. In that time frame, you can have a trade go in your favor and come all the way back 10, 15, 20 ticks in minutes or seconds sometimes, right? And it forces you out of the mode of where you're neutral and into the mode where you are on a fight or flight, and you want to try to stay out of that as much as possible, right? So I can't accomplish that. I'm ADD and dyslexic. I'm highly reactive when I get excited. So for me, the easiest way to do is go, I'll wait till it settles out, take my setups, and get paid, right? That's the easiest way for me to do that. Now, if you're one of the few that can handle that first half hour and that last half hour without going on tilt, all the power to you. But I don't know many people who've made $1 million trading that first 30 minutes or that last 30 minutes. I know a lot of people who make money after 9 a.m. and before 2 p.m. and they limit their trading hours to 4 or 5 hours a day max, right? So that's my 2 cents about that. Let's get to work and see if we can make some money. So scooting this all over, let's see where we're at. Let's see how our little NQ setup worked. Where were we? There we go. So remember I drew this out right over here just a couple minutes ago, right in front of econ, right? Triggered on that bar, 50, 60 back, stop below. This would have given you an average entry if you're willing to trade the first half hour, right? Of 74.53, 74.49, let's call it 74.50 plus 47. Let's just split the difference at 49, right? For a 63 extension, right? So then the question is, well, what about this, Simon, where we traded underneath, right? So remember, look at where we're at on NQ. We're down 70 points, right? So I'm either going to have to believe 1 or 2 things. We're going to roll. And by the way, see how that 1 ticked underneath again for the trigger? See that right there? And then you got another fractal, and it didn't trigger underneath that fractal. And then you end up with, see that right there? So you had this three across right here. It did close underneath. It did backside test and it did roll. This is not a good pattern to short, by the way, guys. You don't want to short the first day down 70, unless you really freaking know we're going down 200 points, and I don't, right? We want to get an extension up. The natural rotation in NQ is 30 to 60 points, right? So now, but look at the flip side. Here you go with your 3 down again, right? There's your close above, right here, right? I'm going to call that my entry. And now, if you look, Bill, so it's interesting. I'm going to throw those stars on and see if that would have helped me on that algo. I'm going to light up that algo and see if that would have helped me out there. But the point is, right, now you're above, and where are you likely to push? To wherever VWAP is. I don't keep VWAP on my chart, but I do have it on my dome, so I'll tell you where that is. 24-hour VWAP is way up there. Let's go find it. There we go. 74.9250 is the 24-hour VWAP, right? My guess is it's highly likely at some point we're going to make a run for that 92.50, which is up here. That's your extended target up, right? And if you look at it from a zone perspective, right? So these blue zones, right? So I have these posted on the chart, right? So these are easily broken. What does that mean? They're valid support areas. They're not areas that I think are going to hold very easily, right? The ones I think that are going to hold well are white and yellow zones. You can see we rejected right out of the white over there at 3 in the morning. Backside tested the yellow, rejected pretty cleanly out of there overnight. And the blue got traded through. Even though it held the first time, it does get traded through. I think this is a harder area to trade in general, except you now have the stretch, right? So why is that important? Because I think you'll get the better response out of the 73.80 location It'll tag you just underneath prior day's low, and now you can get the whole shot back to the mid, right? My whole point behind all of this is, again, if you stay on process, you tend to get paid, and then you just got to orient yourself as to where we are in the cycle. The market's unlikely to go straight down. You don't want to shorten the hole. You want stretches, and you want clear evidence like, hey, they can't push. So what would be our additional evidence in here? Right? So there's some pieces of evidence that we can use for short. Number one, here's your biggest push up off the low, right? Here's next, both in duration and size of that delta wave, is your next push, right? You would have thought it would have gone pretty significantly. There's your fractal up, fractal down. This is your resistance up above. So now you have to make a strategic decision. If you think we're going to roll lower, right, your entry, you don't have a 3 up or 3 down over here. As a matter of fact, you're above your 3 up. This triggered long right there for push up and worked, right? So what am I looking for? You have fractal up, fractal down. I would have preferred this to be a speed bar to the upside. So I wanted a blue bar like this up here and a red bar like this to close underneath. If I'm going to shorten the hole, that's the setup I want, right? Or I would like a combo of this fractal up, fractal down, and then to get some type of either a shot across the bow, which is 3 down on the bottom side, or 3 up that doesn't work. But again, this is likely to act as a magnet up into this area. And then remember, VWAP's right above at 74.92. So again, waiting patiently for the setup. You don't have to shorten the hole. And if you took the original entry, even if you waited till after 9 o'clock, you still got triggered in after 9 o'clock. All you had to be willing to do is take the stop on the back side of that. It pretty much set up perfectly. You just had to know to ignore your shorts in the hole. So they did set up from a 3 up, 3 down perspective. You should not have taken them, right? And you'll see here it flipped. Even if you shorted here, you knew once you closed right here, you had to cover that trade. So it still wasn't horrid. Long story short, we're looking for a setup to the short side here. I will take that if that sets up, by the way, guys. I'll stay on process today. And it looks like we didn't get any fractals on the downside. This is your natural target back to the upside on this. This is 3 down, 3 up, excuse me, shot across the barrel. That's 3 down right there, which would have made this bar right here. That's your long. That's your long right there, right? So it closed both above the 3 up, 3 down. That's your long. So it's your entry is right there. So remember, we're in trend down. Stop has to go up here minus a tick. So I'll show you that. So it's this, this, and then you just have to make sure you're willing to take the stop, right? So, and that's actually a proper setup for me. Hold on. Now I take that back. I'll wait, since we're trend down day, I'll either wait till we get down here, or I'll wait till we get up here for a short setup for a shot down here, or I'll wait to get location on this since we're open drive lower. And this is exactly what I'm talking about how these areas act as magnets. So now that I'm in this location, if I get 3 up or 3 down, I'll consider looking for a short in this location, right? So what am I doing? I'm combining all my processes into one, right? So that I don't get smoked. Long story short, right? So that's it. Let's see where we are and work it from there. And by the way, for my ES traders, you did trigger long back over here. Okay. 3 down, right at the bottom, right? Closed above, see ya. So let's see where we set up, and we'll go from there. Let me move this over. And I would like to go make some money is what I would like to do. We should have some good trades set up through the day. Notice the change in the character of the dome, right? We should have some good opportunities today. So keep a small eye on my 6 range over here. What is this? Bill, any other one have any thoughts or questions about that, guys? Let's see if we can set up a trade here somewhere. And what we want to watch for is a stop in the rotations all of a sudden, right? So ES is down 26 in a bull market. 20 to 30 is generally what you get. It's rare that it keeps pressing lower, right? So we really wanted the longs if we can get them, and we're looking for presses down to trap shorts for presses back up. That's the most likely, that's the best trades that are probably going to set up today. And you'll get people that'll overcommit to the downside, right? And then they'll be pressing all the way back up to the upside later in the day. So we have plenty of time to set up trades, probably in both directions, right? So I don't have anything here. Don't have anything here. By the way, you'll notice, right? The long entries here, you're doing just fine so far. I'll be watching this very closely to see if that turns. Remember, 43 to 82 is the support resistance zone. It's light blue as posted, right? So it can get traded all the way through. And of course, this is the day we wish, damn, I should have taken it before econ, but c'est la vie. Changing character, yes, 5-minute bar and IB range are much bigger than lately. I totally agree with you, Randy. So now what are you doing? You're not going to a down market, right? Now you're going to a two-sided market, right? Which is great. That should give us plenty of ops to put P&L on the board. The problem hasn't been the up. The problem's been the lack of the two-way sided trade. So that CL should push. I got a feeling I'm going to regret not having that trade on, but that's all right. Oh, I don't have the right one. Oh. Remember, when this thing turns, right, they can drive it right back to flat on NQ. Do not assume that it has to go to zero. I'm going to really regret not having this, I got a feeling. It's all right. I've missed my price already, so I'll wait patiently. 3 down. 3 up. 3 down. Close above. Push. Okay. You have a fractal trend line to the upside now on NQ, clearly. Going to draw it more conservatively, draw it like that, but same net difference. And there's my regret on CL. Damn. Talk too much, didn't trade enough. That's okay. Let's see if we get a setup. Again, my biggest concern is we're just not down, right? So we just nailed the turn on that freaking thing, and I didn't take it. 907. Look at that. So I've got to get. I'm going to take a minute to get mentally focused. I'm going to go quiet for a second because I should have taken that, right? Fractal trend line break, 3 down, closed above. I just left and that was after 9 o'clock. I just left a freaking potentially 25-point trade on the table. So let me take a minute to get quiet, refocus my mind, and get ready to make some money. I need about 4 minutes to do that, guys. So there'll be absolute quiet for the next couple of minutes for those of you on YouTube. Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't move fast. I'm reset. I'm focused. I just didn't get I missed the entry. So you missed the entry, you missed the entry. That's all there is to it. So I missed it. That was the trigger right there. 3 up, closed underneath, rolled. I was trying to grab a 50, 60 back, and they had nothing to do. They wanted nothing to do with it. So now this has not triggered, by the way. That's 3 down. And I need so I don't have a fractal up or a fractal down. I had a fractal over here, a speed bar. You have a fractal trend line break. So this would be an aggressive entry if you took this. Okay, if this closes underneath this shot across the bow, right? This is the entry, just like this. Just simply goes like this. I need to see something here real quick. Chart settings, SW. Turn off and I'll go. I'm going to turn back on, see if it'll help. Chart settings, SW. Turn this on. There we go. That's like that. There we are. Not there yet on CL. And again, CL, for whatever reason, it doesn't have to roll to 0, right? Probably the easier trades to the upside now on that. Now you got 3 up and 3 down through here, right? So a close underneath here would set up a roll to the downside. A close above would actually cause a short squeeze up. Fractal up, fractal down on CL. Closed above your 3 up on NQ. That's correct. Man, market's moving fast today. Gotta get my brain in gear. I'm close to triggering a short, actually, on NQ. Hasn't triggered yet. It's got to close underneath this. clear point of control underneath. You can see they're fighting it out. So you start to get these red and blue lines all line up. They're duking it out over here. And I think people who are pushing for new lows on NQ, this would be I hope they push down and smoke themselves, because it would be a great market to get them trapped. And look how much faster the dome is running, right? So my suggestion is when the rotations are tight like they've been, right? 4 and 5 point pullbacks have been working. You're looking for 10 and 20 and 30 point rotations on these things to get entry, right? To make sure they've stretched and exhausted. A fractal up, fractal down on ES, right? They've already tried to push once and roll down. Above 74.80 on NQ, I would think we could push higher. We get a lot of freaking signals flying really fast through here. Bottom of the first hour. Usually you'll get a test of IB low, IB high. Keep that in mind as well. Traps in those locations are good setups generally. And 59.05 is the top of the biggest push down. So if you trap back into that, Randy, they would take it the other way, right? And then watch for the one timing to end on the half-hour time frames. Again, guys in the room, alert me if you see the one timing ending. And I want to, just to make clear what's going on in NQ, it's not bearish. See what we're doing? We're traveling all the way through the balance areas. All we're doing, it's choppy and noisy through here. That's why it's ripping like it is. There's very little reason to defend in this area in general, and there's holes up and down, right? We're getting unfair prices above and unfair prices below intraday, and we're just balancing. And this being the point of control this is the point of control from this balance area. It's the most difficult area to trade through. You see we're just trading right through it up and down, right? What we want to do is try to get down below here into this, then trap back above and push the other way, or get underneath here, have an inability to push back above and roll lower. One of the two, but that seems like a less likely scenario, right? But we'll just let the algos trigger us in. You do have a fractal up, fractal down on NQ. Again, it's pretty noisy here because of the location we're at. Same thing here, it's pretty noisy. Whichever side of this they close on, I am likely to take that trade in that direction, just FYI. And remember, guys, so I know you're most of y'all's trading well enough, especially as I'm coaching. We have the most losses inside of balance, and everything from an ES and NQ are inside of prior days. Well, excuse me, we're out of balance into the anomaly, right? On ES, but on NQ, we're inside of that prior day's balance area, and that's where the most stops come from, right? So just keep that in mind. A lot of noise going on in NQ here, guys, just FYI. A lot. Shop City. Too many signals too fast together, guys. I'll just wait it out. And CL's technically triggered long, not short, above there. So there's no short setup there for me. Too much noise. Again, ES is right in a support zone. They're trying to hold it, but it's sat there a long time. Damn, that sucks. I missed that long, and then it got chopped. Maybe it's triggered short now. And again, notice if I miss the trade, I just missed the trade, right? I'm not chasing anything. I'm not trying to make anything special. I'm just following the process, right? And if I can, and sometimes the process moves too fast for me, or I'm not mentally there to take it fast enough, right? So it's hard when we shift gears like this, and all of a sudden we're rolling pretty damn fast all the way through. Fractal up, fractal down on NQ. Then bury them on NQ. We'll catch them on the turn. So frustrating not to have caught either side of that. It's all right. Sorry, guys. I haven't caught either side of that trade today. Three down. Be aware, close above that. I will be long right here. I will take the stop. FYI. Excuse me. Right here. Fractal up, fractal down. I will be long above that 74.52, just FYI. If it doesn't trigger, I don't get long, right? If that does trigger, I'll be long above that. Stop 1 or 2 points below here. Again, I recommend you don't follow me blindly. Follow your own setups. But that, decent trade. I'm not shorting in the hole. That one tick underneath there does not qualify, by the way, and is often a trap. And we're coming down into that second support level. Picture here. You have to have a bigger range on when you're trying to trade. Portrait picture. 3 up. We closed underneath. And released. Damn. I didn't see that. It's all right. you go over here. No trigger, so I'm on hold. Remember, the first day is usually the hardest day when you're changing character, so let them play themselves out. Remember, London closed till 11:30. So obviously I'm hoping for some setup over here. I don't want to get long all the way up here. All right. Down 100 on NQ. That's usually a place where you start to find responsive buyers, by the way. Fractal up, fractal down on CL. Looking for 3 across to show up somewhere down here or something to give me a setup long. It doesn't have to come. Sometimes it just turns, right? We are 100 down. There's definitely bottom fishers when you get 100 down. About to get your 3 shot across the bow. This prints. Close above. Stop underneath. There's your 3 across, assuming this prints. Close above here will trigger short squeeze. Stop goes down here. Let's erase these lines. So now it's above, below. It'd be good if we got some kind of fractal to help out. We don't have a fractal trend line here. Well, now we do. Nothing on ES yet. I'll point it out if it triggers. CL, 3 up, fractal down, no 3 to accompany it. Usually you will get to 3 at the turn. So close above here and I'm long. Now on NQ, stop below. 7 minutes until top of the hour algos. Got to close by more than 1 tick, so it'll be the second bar. So 74.48, 75 with a 50-60 back. It'll be half-half, right? So 47.48 will be my long, right? And then I'll buy the 50-60 back. Has not triggered. If it does, I'll enter here at 48. Half back, 74.42.50 will be my next entry. And I'm long, 74.48. 42.50 is my half back. Stop is going underneath 36. So by the time I draw back this 48 and 42, I'll be around 44. Okay. So I am in half. I am filled, right? My first target up is 58 for scale. Sorry, there's nothing I can do to type. There's no way I can humanly type that out as fast as we're moving. Again, market's moving fast. So take your scales that fit your profile. I'm shooting for 10 up, right? And I will add to this on the 50-60 back. Okay. which right now brings me to add to a 7446 add. Stop, 74, let's just call it 36. Thank you, Randy. My scale's already up at the 7458. And I have a limit in to add 7446. Which looks like I'm going to get it. Or not. Looks like I get my first scale of 58 before I get my second in. Again, scale as you need to. Come on, don't leave me falling short. Need a little bit more love. Again, if you're going to be upset if that comes back against you, I suggest you scale. Right? I missed so far by a tick. Really? That sucks. Okay. Nonetheless, I missed by a tick. So you have a choice now, right? When you miss by a tick, usually I just bring the stop around break even. In this case, I think we can actually push, right? So I'm going to still execute on the half back. Just got to modify it. I may be totally freaking wrong about that. So I'm adjusting to my add will be in the same place, so you can choose to skip it, or you can modify your stop if we simply close behind the 62 retrace now. But I'm leaving everything as is. Right, there was no delta on the push down here. Okay, so I'm good with pushing back with the push back up, or waiting for the push back up. I think that's totally insane. I can't believe I missed that exit by a tick. I mean, what was the absolute high on that? I think it was 75 cents. Sure was. Damn. Talk about yuck. So you have a trading decision to make at this point here, guys. Right? So I'm staying with the trade, but actually a close underneath here would be 3 up. So you actually want to bail on it if you get a point of control. So that's a 1 tick point of control underneath. This is where you have to make a general trading call, right? You think we're going to reverse back up or fall apart. So I'm going to leave my stop as is. We still haven't gotten the point of control underneath, but this bar will certainly print, right? If it does, and that's just going to suck for me. So I didn't add. The add was in the same place. I missed my exit by a tick. So I still have the same trade on. The stop is in the same place, basically low of the day, right? And I will just not be happy when I get stopped on that. But what can I say? And ES is pressing the last swing low again. Damn. That pretty much blows. New low ES, no new low NQ. Always interesting. And my stop looks like they're just going to come and sweep it. Okay. No, not yet, but I'm going to bet they take it. Big delta push. Watch for a push back above this wave or push back to the upside. They did not tag my 36 somehow by some crazy ass miracle, but I'm pretty sure they will. That was a pretty hard push and they didn't break. If they can't push below that, right, or they trap back in, watch for the slingshot the other way. And they got me. Not my most glorious day, is it? That's all right. I've missed almost every entry. I've missed my exit, and I got tagged on a stop. That all sucks. So, and I missed my short. So, at any rate, staying with the process, I'll wait for my next setup, right? Not going to jump to conclusions. You are setting up on a 3 down, you get above the 3 down and push. Still, I'm willing to re-enter down here, minus 100, right? I am. And damn, I need a setup. I need a fractal down. Come on. There's fractal down, fractal up. I close above this, I'll be long again. If. Again, the problem here is there's just no good support underneath this, and that's why it's struggling like it is. There's no one to defend here. I missed my CL short entry. I'm just not happy with myself overall. I'm lucky I didn't add. That was a net half stop, half size trade because I didn't add. It pushed before I got there, and I missed my scale, but not cool. No trigger yet. Look, there's just no delta coming in on the bottom. See, that's actually, there's nothing there. You should be able to trap these sellers and push them. You just need a trigger. No lift. One more press, maybe. This is where you start to get shorts buried, where they're looking for the continuation down, right? So now what you need is the trigger. 3 down, fractal up, fractal down, get above it, half, half, push, just like we did earlier, right? I just didn't get my scale. So the first down day is always rough, especially when it's trend day down. So for those who are new in the room, I don't move my stops, right? Because generally speaking, it causes me far more anguish than it ever does benefit, right? And I don't shorten the hole. So yeah, I'm frustrated that I'm down a half on a half size position, 10 points or 5 net, right? And I'm mad that I've missed my initial entries, right? But you don't go off process, long story short. And I don't have a shot across the bow or anything to take aim on, right? There's my 3 down. I needed to close above this. I didn't get it. I didn't get it on CL. I really hate missing that trade right there. It was right into the 58, 51, 58, 46. See how we got a response right out of the anomaly there? Bam, right in, right out. Frustrating. In the meantime, new lows. What comes down up easily goes down easily. Remember this 100 to 120 is prime hunting locations for counter trades, right? You can bet on the melt straight down, but it's uncommon. There's your fractal up, fractal down. This would be a trigger long above, and I will attempt it if it gets in. So the trigger will be about 74.38 would be my guess. The stop's going to be about 74.27. Got to close above. And that would also be a trap back into the left. And you need to get above 74.43 to push back to the upside, bigger picture. I'm close to triggering. That 74.35 won't do it because the point of control won't be above. So it'll be closer to 74.38, FYI. That stop's going to be bigger. Okay, and usually off the bottom, they're just going to turn it, just so you know. Nothing yet. $74.40 will be too far away for the stop I'd have to take. Okay, so right, I'm going to look to work the 50-60 back if that triggers, and unfortunately, I'll probably just miss on that. That's just how that goes. That's the trigger. The point of control has to be above. It's stretched too far. Fudge. I'm not willing to take that stop. So let's assume we're going to get that 43. It's hard when it's this fast on the first day, guys. It's usually not whipping like this. So I will attempt whatever the 50-60 back appears to be. Damn, look at that. You just had to be Johnny on the spot for that. It'd be nice if we'd move just a slight bit slower to let me get my entries. There's your 50-60. I have a limit for a long. I'm going to try for 74.36 because I think we'll test the top of this fractal. So limit 74.36, stop at the low. Okay. And that I can put in. Please don't tell me I'm going to miss my entry. Long 74.36, stop as stated. Point of control right behind that 62 retrace. And if I get stopped twice here, guys, I'm going to have to pull the plug for an hour. And it looks like they're going to stop me. Son of a gun. What a shit day. That trade setup is so good 90% of the time. Pause. Time for me to pause. That's 2 stops. It's a stop and a half. That is so frustrating. You finally get a fast market, and that setup is so freaking solid 90% of the time. That's 30, actually 70% of the time. So that's the 30% it doesn't work. And it looks like they stopped me to the tick. Life's going to suck here for a little bit. So I'm pausing till after London close, guys. It's 10:17. I apologize. Not my greatest trading effort. I missed a lot of entries. And they took me one tick underneath, and now they're going to roll it back up. So, anyways, that's two stops. I don't destroy my trading account. So, even if it's a stop and a half, it's a pause for an hour. I'll revisit. But in all likelihood, that does it. Damn. Isn't it amazing how the market can make you feel stupid? That blows. And remember, if you get above this biggest press down, I hate Fridays where I have to bail them out. Right. So this is the first close above the biggest wave down right here. This is the next wave down right here. You get above this, see ya. I'm just not going to chase it. I'm not going to bury it. So I took a shot twice. Wow. Sometimes 20 years doesn't do you any damn good. Oh, I'd like to bash my head right now. I really want to take that 50-60 back. That's your location right there. If you're willing to take a stop at the low, guys, that is the location. Again, I'm not going to take another trade for an hour. I've gotten two quick stops, so I've got to take a pause. That's just part of my formula. That's what I expected the first time in. By the way, that's 3 down right there, guys. See that? 1, 2, 3, like that. You get above that, see ya. So just trend day down and sellers started to show up. I'm so frustrated with that stop. Even that would have helped me, right? Shot in, shot out for scale. And now you see me have a bad day. Not very many of them, but that's one of them. Let's even get one more setup here. There's your 3 down. Again, you close above that, right? Fractal up, fractal down, 3 up, close behind. Again, push. I would not bet on a continuation lower. It's a low odds trade, just FYI. And notice where I'm having difficulty on this is inside of prior day's value area, right? See how ES, if I take in the same trade, 50, 60 back, stop at the low, I don't get tagged, right? Pricing that 74.35, they're going to get buried in here somewhere. So that's technically a short trigger. I will not be taking that. Damn, look at that. Perfect. Oh, I'm so mad with my stops. It's all right. Long day to go. And I goofed this, by the way. I tried to be perfect with that stop. And I put it to low. If I just adjusted it by a few points, I'd have been fine. But I would take this trade. By the way, the one I got busted on right there, this right here where backside tests. So I know it busted today, technically by it came to the backside of this yellow zone, of this zone here. But this process here, where you close above and get a 50, 60 back, you show that trade to me 100 times, I will take it 100 times. It is a good setup. 3 minutes till algos. London closes not at 10:30, it's 11:30. I'm telling you, that kind of PA right there, where you keep pressing down into those lows like that, right? See how the delta keeps falling off? Okay, so one of two things are going to happen. They're going to press hard here, get it underneath, trap back in. There's going to be just a nasty short squeeze back up. This is how you trap shorts. It's what the process looks like. There's 3 down, by the way. You're short across the bow. 3 up, excuse me. I will be long CL and close above. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Wrong place. Sorry, guys. Be on long on a close above. So the only way this works where we truly melt straight down is if it's a true trend day down, right? And that's been the risk for 2 weeks as I've been going through, is that we just have one massive melt day, and that's okay, right? The important thing is you don't go, F this, I'm off process. Every trade you take from here, right? The desperation shouldn't be to recover the losses. The thought process should be, what is my next setup, right? Because I know that keeps me in high odds situations, right? Acknowledge your frustration, right? But then get refocused. First spread speed bars we're seeing in mass at bottom. It'd be great to get a fractal on one of these and then get above it. That will go down in my journal as pain right there. 1 tick away from getting my scale. That changes, that 1 tick changes my whole freaking day. 1 minute till algos. Three down, I get above on that on CL. I will look long. It's still close above here, so it changes. Change goes here. Is that right? Nope. Change goes here. Sorry. Attempted press below. So watch, right? Everyone's pressing for the short now. You close back into this. Wow. So it's got to close back in, right? And preferably on a setup. There's your 3 down, right? I want to go long that so bad. I'm not outside my hour yet. It's this bar right here triggers you long. $35 triggers you long, guys. I can't take it, but the trade's there. Urgh. See, all about to trigger as well. Again, I'm on pause. CL's about to trigger. CL triggered long. 58.60. Guys, the stop has to go at that low. Just FYI if it breaks it. Again, obviously the signals that normally are triggering pretty easily, 3 up, 3 down, right, are giving you much harder time, right? First day down is challenging, right? The reason why is we've gone straight up and there's no support underneath. For months now, that those setups have been total money, right? Don't get frustrated. That's why I'm managing my stops, right? By taking a pause when things aren't working correctly, right? And letting the trade set up. That is a correct setup, by the way, on CL. Down 40 on ES. Again, I do think that's a good long on CL there. And I'm not in it because I'm on hold. If I sound upset, I am. That setup had everything you want. Fractal up, fractal down, 3 to the downside, close above, and push. It's a very good setup. There's 3 down again on NQ. Again, I think they're going to trap them sooner or later. I can't take the trades, but they should push these. There's your fractal down, 3 across, close above, push again. Again, it's having a hard time clearly, right? But when it turns, it will turn very, very fast. Just be aware of it. People shorting down here are begging for pain. That's half back, by the way, on CL. By the way, don't forget to look at your dome. We are in unfair pricing, and we've almost auctioned all the way down on ES to these unfair prices from prior days. You're likely to find responsive buyers, right? Unless this is just a total melt day, right? Again, we're now outside of fair value on NQ, right? Into single prints. This is a good area to look for contra trades. You'll find it over and over in single prints where you get big reversals and you can get down into these locations, right? So I am looking for a reversal back to the upside on this. I'm actually hoping it comes after 11 at this point. And there goes CL. Good job. Good job, Randy. That was a correct trade. Damn, I knew NQ could set up for a big roll down, but fudge. That sequence sucked. $122, keep selling it, keep burying it. Please keep going to 11 o'clock. Support on ES is coming up at 28.14. Don't forget to look at your chart, right? We go to our 5-minute chart. Your next support area. So remember, this blue area can get busted, right? Remember I said it can work, but you can get slipped through. So look where I've been taking my losses, right? This is your next location. I didn't think we could get down here, frankly, but that's your next location, right? And that's your next location on ES. Wow, that's frustrating after days of up. They'd wipe it all in one day. That's exactly what they've done. I've missed my CL setups. That is pain. Biggest push down. That. Man, straight panic. No support underneath. I was afraid of that. I didn't hook up the short. Three across, setting up. You get above that. That sets up your long. What you want is these red speed bars to show up at the bottom and really press, right? You don't want the blue. No shit, people are buying what you are trying to reverse it. What you want is the red and the press and the fail. Good job, Randy. Wish I had that trade. So what you want here is a big red down bar. Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be big, just a red down bar, right? They're trying to break that low fast, right? Even off the low, if they get up here and they press down, that's what you want. So your line is now, sorry, I drew in the wrong place, right there. It'll be fast when it gets above there, guys. I can't trade till after 11. About to trigger 3 above. That's a long. The pointy control didn't get above. See that? Fuck. See that? One tick underneath there. One more. It's not there yet, but it's damn close. That's a long right there. 74.14, your stop's at the low. Wow, that's just a wicked freaking trading day. That's all I got to say. That should be good to go. That's your 50-60 back. As long as it doesn't break that low, it's still valid, but it's rough. Wow. Sugar 3 above, no fractal down. Sorry, guys. That's getting really brutally tough. I knew that first down day could be ugly, but damn. That would have been a stop for me, most likely. My stop would have been 1 or 2 points underneath here. So I don't know what to say. It's straight down. Damn. After days of wanting the short setup, and then it's just freaking fall out of bed. I knew that was going to freaking be a high probability. That'd have been a stop for me, guys. I'd have taken that long. I'm just telling you. Hey, Bill, are you there, buddy? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're right. That is what's missing. So my day would be much worse than it actually is. Well, so it depends. I get the scale, my day would have been much better. I get my first 2 trades, the day would have been much better. Instead, had I not stopped trading, my day would have been much worse. I have no way to respond to that other than that. And what else do you say? It swept the whole range. Bill, the likelihood is that we won't get it on the bottom. It's just going to reverse it. That's my thought. And that's all right, right? It'll set up later in the day, but it's very frustrating. So I feel like I did a horrible job. Actually, let me correct that. I know I did a horrible job. Fractal down, fractal up. You want to see that, right? That is probably going to trigger after 11, hopefully. We're flying straight down, so taking the longs are really freaking challenging. That's new low NQ, no new low ES, right? So it's on the low, just not hitting new lows as NQ is. And if I sound frustrated, I am. We could use a 3 down over here. It would really be helpful. Again, what saves my bacon, right, is the early stops. Meaning stopping trading when things aren't triggering right. And I'd encourage everyone to do it, not just me, you. When we go straight up, right, this is the risk to the downside. Okay. So over the last 30 days, if you took all those setups that we took, normally they are gold. CL, NQ, all of them, right? So really important. You get to a day where stuff isn't working, you stop quickly and you reset, right? You put pauses in between. So if you're starting to take bad trades one over the other, right, and you have a max stop loss for the day. Wow. Very frustrating. And no counter to really get a decent set to the short side. There's all your red fractal bars. You get above these guys, right? I think we've been missing that all morning. We get them on NES too. Yep. Red fractal bar, get above them, push. You got to get above them. Otherwise, they're just going to keep stripping you down on the stops. Okay, 2 minutes until I can pull the trigger on a trade again. You may want to wait till after London close, by the way, as ugly as this is. Wow. What a brutality to the downside. Keep your stops wherever you're at in your account, max stop loss, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff's important, right? You see, the reason why I stopped trading early is exactly because of days like this. When I take two stops back to back and I put a pause, either I have the wrong read, something's different, right? Or the setups aren't working. Doesn't matter which three they are, right? If they work on most days and they don't work today, go home with a loss, come back next week, make money again, right? But if you keep going, oh, I have to get this, right? So my read's been totally wrong. I thought we would counter somewhere in here. We're down 147 and 50 on ES. I knew that could happen. We just haven't had the PA to let it happen, right? And then all, like I said, the exit signs would get very narrow. So pause, which I've done, right? Now I look for the next setup, which I don't have. The zone's down there at 73, 77. And they usually front run that zone when we're this far stretched. It's down 150, right? So don't be shocked, right? If they just reverse it without tagging the zone, it's not unusual. And I need some kind of setup. And when we're this far down, we're usually not going to get it. They're going to reverse it so fast that it'll be a secondary setup. Trap up, trap underneath. Now we're hoping for 3 up or 3 down and to get above it somehow. And V shape. Yeah, look at that. Rocket ship. I knew that was a possibility. So what we're looking for is on a pushback down is to get 3 across. Let me see if I can show you this. Let's go back to a time when we did rip down regularly. Okay, of course, I only have a couple days on this. Let me load it up. I need 120 days. It'll take a second to load. Three down on CL. Again, what you want is a clear close above and a push. That brings your close above right there. Your stops right there. You have to survive London close, and I have no idea which way they're going to take it. There's your 3 up. Watch on London close getting underneath those 3 ups. Normally I wouldn't say short it, right? But you get underneath that, and they could run it into the bottom there one more time. See, Bill, what I mean? They weren't going to give you the fractals at the bottom. You did get a fractal trend line break. Right, but yeah, suck. That's fine. I'm on the hunt for another trade, so I'll just wait. I'll probably let it blow through London close and then come back and find my opportunity. The one thing you want to do is when you've gotten stopped or you're frustrated, right? So I'm going to keep reiterating the same thing. Stay on process. Process works. Number 2, don't draw down past your maximum stop limit. Very important. Number 3, right? If you're emotionally unfit to take the next trade, don't do it. The market opens again on Monday. Very simple rules. See this push down right here? It's exactly what you want to see on NQ. Oh, there we are. So here, let me show you this, what the turns look like. Going back. Okay, so nasty down day right there, right? Falling, falling, falling. So look at what you get at the low. See that right there? You just get nothing actually here. But what you do get, see this 3 down right here? Right, so we've gone down pretty good, right? They try to bounce it over here to the left, right? You don't get the fractal setup over here. It pushes, closes underneath, rolls down, gives one more push into 1242, right? So then now you're looking for the fractal trend line break, right? You get 3 down over here, breaks one last push. Notice the whimper that it goes into the low on, right? It gets one push, then whimper. Where you get the 3 is right over here, right? And as soon as it closes above it, right, that's your first trigger to the long side, and you get nothing else down here, right? Next is you're coming along. See how you start to get the fractals down and the pushes down, and each time they're getting behind these fractals now, it's reversed, right? So that's one example. If we go back and look at it, that's January 10th, right? And that's right before we turned. It was pretty hard to the downside. If you look at the prior turn, right in front of London close, I believe it was. Let's see if my memory serves. It was earlier. Come in here. Okay, so there's an earlier turn, fractal up, fractal down, close above, push, right? So notice now both sides are working, but notice again before the big turn, you get nothing. You don't even get 3 down on that particular one, right? It just turned and went. You just got to shrug your shoulders on that one. There's nothing. There's no setup there for me. There's nothing for me to do. I just simply would have to hope that I was still long from here and go, oh well, right? And then as you get to the top, right? So notice the push is pretty significant. That goes from 65.50 to 66.30, right? All the way up, right? And then you're looking, right? So what are you looking for there? Now that rotations have opened up, you know that you have 2 sides of the trade working. Damn, that sucks that we pushed right off the bottom. Notice that this is triggering you short. This is 3 shot across the bow, trade underneath, push 50, 60 back, and then push to the downside. Notice that you're not getting your turns. Your stop basically has to go around here, and you have to scale into pushes down, right? That next push up does not give you a short or a long, right? Then we get 3 down, close above, 50, 60 back, push, right? Notice that if you try to start shorting this early, right, it's just in grind mode. You finally get up to what I'm going to assume is a resistance area, fractal up, fractal down with 3 up. See that? 1, 2, 3. Close underneath here, right? So see how you had 1, 2, 3, fractal up, fractal down, never close underneath. You did have 1, 2, 3 here. Your fractal down was over here. Notice how you never closed underneath. You did close underneath this one, but see how that's just not ticking underneath that speed bar right there? You don't want to short that, right? I understand that today it worked earlier. Trust me, you don't want to short it. It's a low odds setup, okay? So then as you push, right, make one more high, fractal up, fractal down. Here's 3 across right here. 1, 2, 3. You close underneath, right? Your stop goes up here, and then you get fractal up, fractal down again. Notice you get 3 across again, closes underneath, and that's what gives you your roll to the downside, which is why, right, even if I totally gaff this area over here, right? So now see when I come back over here and look at that, I have a lot of experience in trading markets that have gotten body slammed to the downside, right? I know that sometimes it's going to turn and simply not give me my setup. What it usually doesn't do. So I'm going to go back to that January 11th, 12th one more time. Right? If we were trading that day and I was looking for my longs, right? I want to take you through that really quick. This is an exceptionally different day in terms of, where was I? We were pricing hard to the downside. 10th, 11th, it had to be that Monday. Was it? There we go. Got it? It was closer to lunch. Maybe it was a Friday. There we go. Okay. Notice the series, like normally, if I'd been trading back in here, I go, okay. So remember, we get London close at 10:30 in this case, right? So then I'm looking for my long side setups. I go 3 down, and I'm long right above, and I get an immediate push, right? Again, I get shot across the bow. I'm looking for a long above. Shot across the bow right here, 1, 2, 3, close above, backside test, press, right? And I'm avoiding the shorts here. So again, I get 3 down, close above, press. Now we've extended away, right? If I'm looking for the short at that point, I'm getting fractal up, fractal down, 3 o'clock, cross, close underneath, push, right? So I know what it looks like when it's functioning properly, right? Which is why I know when I look at it right now, this is simply the result. The way that the PA is moving is that we just have one day down where we've gone all in one direction, right? So why am I willing over here when I get 3 down and I close above it back over here? When I look at these same trades that failed, right? I come back in and I go, okay, fractal up, fractal down, close above, 50, 60 back. Usually it takes off. Why? Because I can go point to 100 days where that trade works fantastically, right? If I come over here, right, 3 across over here, close above, right? So that's 3 down, close above, maybe a little backside test and push, fails today. But I'm all right with that, only in the context that I know normally that would not be the normal case, right? So when I come back over here, right, I knew that at the bottom I probably wasn't going to get set up because that's not abnormal. But now I do have 3 down over here heading into London close, right? Fine. I didn't get 3 across. I got the fractal up, fractal down. I'm not willing to short that, quite frankly. 140 down. I'm not willing to short NQ. I don't care if it goes down 200. So now I've got 3 across right here, right? So now I've got a gauge. Am I willing to take the close above here? And I'm going to answer that question. I am, right? And then what does my stop have to be? My stop has to be a little bit underneath this fractal. So if my trigger, let's see, I'm going to assume my trigger is going to be a 7402 for a 7390 stop, right? So now I just got to look at the time and go, hey, am I willing to short that in front of London close, or are they going to body slam it? That's a very easy choice for most traders, right? All you have to do is make the decision as to whether or not you're going to take that trade. If you go, nope, I don't like London close, I get killed in those locations. And actually, this has switched a little. I got 3 down. Trigger's here now. And I will take it. Stop will go below here. Okay. So I want to be clear. I want to be uber super clear, right? If I take this trade and I get stopped, right, I will trade one more time after London, right? So that'll put me at my max stop. What am I doing? I'm at a stop and a half. So this trade I'll take on half size. Why? Because I have no idea how London close is going to come up, and I don't know if I'm going to get set up. And my highest odds setup is going to come with what? Fractal up, fractal down, and 3 up and 3 down. Why am I repeating it? I don't want people to blow up, right? That's my focus. And I'm keeping a strong eye on CL is actually triggered long, and I'm not long. It triggered right at 11 o'clock. I'll show you. 3 down. Triggered long here. It's a valid long trigger. That's all I can say. So I'm not long. I missed it. I was focused on NQ. London's the wild card. After London, we should settle down a little bit. My guess is when we're down like this, what I usually see is so many people press for the close on the low at London that they get short squeezed up. We have 3 down there. No trigger yet. There's another 3 down, so you're adjusting your entry even more. Oh, it's the same thing. It's on this bar right here. Close above. Triggers you long. And I do have CL long. I'm not long, but I do have it triggered long. And there's no rule that says they have to reverse it, obviously. And I'll put back the regular charts. That was the trigger long. And again, my guess is they are going to short squeeze these guys into London close. And only because usually the bet is they're going to press it down. And again, the target, so just to be clear on the downside, 73.77 to 73.70 is your trade location as far as support goes. I can't believe we swept the whole zone and I did not catch a short. That hurts. So, sorry guys, not my brightest moment. You got Bill. We close above with a point of control above. I will be long. It's not there yet. That trade has smoked people, and I'm taking it into London close, guys. So just be aware. I could pay the price for taking this trade. You just got to decide. I don't have an answer on that. 7,400. Wow, that's a freaking big stop. It's 14 points. Taking it on 1/3 size. I'm lowering my trade size on this and hoping to add back to half size at the 50 back if this triggers. And so far, that's not a problem. See how the point of control didn't get above? Those computers, even in a fast market, know what they're doing. I have a long limit sitting at 7,400.25. Again, it's 1/3 size. I'll move to half size on a 50-60 back. No, I should have. Oh, I did. I got filled right at the tick. 7,400.25. I was like, wait a minute. 50-60 back. I will add 73.94. Stop 73.85. That sucks, but that is a stop. Stops in place. Limit not hit on the 94, hoping for it. Come on. I get it? Indeed, I did. Filled 94. So my average is roughly 73.98 for a 73.85 stop. That's 13 on a half size trade, right? They blow me up. I traded in front of London close, and I know the risk there. And now if I can get above this 3 down, I get paid. If I don't, I get stopped. Just how it's going to go. First target for scale will be 10 up. Right. So that'll be 74.08 is for scale. Sorry, I wrote that should be 73.85 stop. Apologize. I'm already lined up there at the 74.08. It'd be nice if I actually could get a scale this time. Again, manage the trade to your own risk. I'm pretty comfortable with that trade down 150 on NQ. And the only reason that trade's half size is because of the London close. Again, I missed my last scale on a good long on NQ by 1 tick. So if you see us miss this scale by a tick and you need to adjust, go ahead. Everyone in the room knows I won't move my stop. It's just a bad habit. Come on. 07. There's no way I'm the one stopping 08. There's just no human way. Really? And more really. Wow. Filled finally. Scaled and trailing. All right, just make a decision to move your stop to break even or not. Wow. That was not easy. So now you just make the decision as to whether you want to bring your stop to net break even or not. Obviously, I took 10, right? I'm on half size. And so let's see, 74.98, 10, 74.88. My stop's 74.85, right? So I'm just going to let them, I'm either going to donate 3 more points on a quarter size trade back to the market, or I'm going to let them push me up pretty nicely. One of the two. The only variable now is London close. That was pretty damn brutal. So you got 3 across right here, 3 down, right? Fractal up, fractal down. You want to keep pressing the short side. That's a valid short entry. It is not for me. I do not short NQ down 130. If this is the day we go down 300, so be it. Not here, not without a stretch, 60, 70 up. No thanks. And we came almost to support. We just missed a 73, 77. By the way, it wouldn't be uncommon in the afternoon if they want to complete down to that anomaly for that 73, 77 to come in. See that? How it's set up on the zone? It wouldn't be uncommon. Get the low, press, come all the way back just to tag that in the last hour, and then rocket ship back. I don't know if we can get it. That's more common when we're in a mid to lower end of the range, but it wouldn't shock me. So see how this is one ticking underneath, right? I'm just simply electing not to take my shorts, right, and leave my long trailing. And the next 4 minutes might be brutal to me. Well, it will not be brutal. I'll be down 3 points on a quarter size trade. Oh, there we go. Perk it up. Push, push, push. Go, go, go. And mostly just stay relaxed. Three minutes till New York close. Again, if I get stopped here, I want to be clear. I will take a full size trade if it sets up down in the 73.77 to 73.70. I will take a trade in that area. So I'm all right with the stop. Don't want to get stopped. I'm all right with it. Right. And right, I will take a long down there at 77 to 70, assuming I get set up. By the way, for those who are on YouTube, usually when people are having a rough day and they do this and they want to look like gurus, right? They bail when they have a hard time, right? And it's not working, quote, perfectly. So I think it's more important to teach people what to do when you're having difficulty, because otherwise it's just a nightmare, the whole thing, right? Because that's where you make all your money, right? So weeks and months, ask anyone in the room, the setups have been working like magic, right? And it's really been super high win rates, right? So the lesson here is don't divert from your process. That's the number one, right? Again, you're getting these red bars pressing down here. This is good, right? Because you get behind them, they're forced to cover. See how they're pressing And that's roughly, see how they're pressing back down to the low, trying to break those guys? That's what that is. These red bars, they're an algo. And in order to appear, they got to press. All you want is 3 down in addition to that, or maybe a big delta press that can't get back to the low. Right, like this, actually. That's the biggest press down. So where is that? Still got to get above the 7404. So anyways, my guess is, as long as they don't stop me here, we can press back up towards minus 100. But London close may be a beast. Let's see if they tag me. Not yet. They are trying with a mighty vengeance. Get above that fractal. You have a good chance of launching. 3 red bars down, get above them, and pop. Speed bar to the downside. Go, speed racer. How to get above that fractal. Should do it. See ya. Thank you for participating in life. Bye-bye. That should push from there, guys. You can hold above this right here now. You can hold above this. That should do it. And let me look on the bigger range. And that bottom is hard to freaking trade. Where the hell my 6 range bar? It's right here. This is what we need to get above on the 6 range. See that? See those double fractals lined up side by side? You clear that, and you are freaking in heaven on the long side. That's the 3 range, not what I want. Where'd that chart go? Well, I have now officially lost the chart. I'll find it. There we go. Okay. 3 down, right? That's your last 3 down. Get above this, get behind these 2 fractals, launch time. Got to happen still, but it's set up to do it. And notice the slightly higher highs and higher lows are starting to take place off this bottom here, right? They can't get below this swing now. You've got the shorts trapped, and you push. and you get behind this biggest push to the upside, right? And you get fuel. Where's the biggest push to the downside? Last biggest push. Already behind it. See that? That was your last push. You're now behind. If you can close above and hold above, push. Again, I'm on trailers. I have not been stopped. I'm not as big on size as I want to be, but part of the deal trading in front of London. Now someone will look at this and go, I'm going to short that swing high. There's 3 up. Good luck, buddy. You've already had the correction. Very few days close on the low. I know one can when we're going straight up like this. You do get them, but it's very rare to have them go straight down, especially without any kind of bounce. You'd think we could have to pull 50 off. You'd still be minus 80 on the day, right? Minus 30, a 15-point bounce on ES, right? You're already following the same process on ES, right? Push down, couldn't get above, fractal down, close above. As long as you hold that swing, right? Push to the upside. You're down 50, right? Like even go look back when we were just melting. Like it was actually bearish and we had reason to be bearish, right? You couldn't get the market ES to get down more than 50 was a rare day. NQ down more than 150. Only at the very, very bottom were we pushing those 200 and 300 point down days in December. So I'm pretty comfy. Again, if you don't want the stop or you don't like the trade or you're going to freak out if you get stopped, right? My suggestion is you take your money while it's profitable, right? My stronger suggestion is you just stick to process. Anyways, guys on YouTube, I think I did a little bit of redeeming, slight, so I'm going to shut it off. I agree. Nice job, Bill. Good trading, brother. Damn, way to focus. I am super happy for you, man. Great job. You worked hard for that. Good P&L, and you didn't take the stops I took. I should be having a pretty monster day, and I'm having a pretty looking forward to Monday day. So the day's not over. We'll see if I can pull something out of the rabbit hat. And what happened, so just to be clear, before I leave y'all, right, remember, the most important thing in trade management, I can go through days and days and days and days and days of these setups where they work like magic. We were just piling P&L on, right? But I can also go through random days where I don't follow process, right? Or I don't stop trading. So you could have said, Simon, if you just shorted today, right, you would have made up your P&L and you'd be up on the day. Totally true, right? But it's the first day we've had any kind of downside rotation, and you want me to drink the Kool-Aid of short side bearishness when we're already down? It's not a smart trade for me, right? Number 2, I missed 2 key entries on trades. Not 1, 2 key entries on trades, right? And that cost me some P&L. I missed an exit on a trade by a tick, right? I just figured I would get it. Normally when I'm patient, I'm pretty good at getting my location. I missed it. It came all the way back for a stop. I wrote down in my journal, maybe I should have moved my stop to break even. But let me tell you, how many times I've moved my stop to break even on a trade, only to watch it go a gajillion points. And I go, well, that was brilliant, right? And what you saw, the most important thing that I did today, right, was put the pause in my trading decisions to make sure I'm not on tilt and to process my emotion of frustration, right? So that the next shot I took was a clean shot, right? And notice how uncomfortable that was for me, right? I took the trade, but I didn't like the trade, right? And that's like, I can't tell you how mega important that is that the good trade's always going to be uncomfortable, right? And that's why rookie traders always want to shorten the hole. They always want to go long when it's straight up. They always want to be comfortable. The right trade, right? The right trade is when it's uncomfortable. And in between there, you need a process, and however you're trading, doesn't matter, fibs, fractals, pulling something out the backside of your backside, right? Whatever it is, right? Even a bad plan with the risk management has a chance of working, right? I mean, just in randomness, right? But if you're guessing all the way through this process, you're effed. Period. End of sentence. There's no way you can survive. And if you're going on process one day and off process the next because you think you can read it, right? You're still effed, right? So that's my strongest suggestion to you guys. If you'd like to visit the room, send me an email. I went a lot longer than I wanted to. I am still down on the day. So this thing's going to have to run like a banshee to fix that for me. But not down as much as I was earlier. And I'm still looking for my next trade setup, and I'm still not shorting the whole. And that's that. So have a great day, guys. Manage risk, and happy weekend. We'll see you all on Monday. Not the room, guys on YouTube.